The voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. We're glad you could join us once again on Indiana in the Morning. Our time is 8:45. We like to check in with Indiana Borough Police Chief Justin Schawl every now and then, and he joins us on the phone this morning. Chief, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Doing excellent. Now, Indiana Borough Police have been very busy over the last month or so with things going on, everything from rallies and marches to some pretty deep investigations. Why don't we start with the rallies, because this was something that kind of came up very quickly. It was starting with the Black Lives Matter rally, and we had a rally last Friday for the Second Amendment Sanctuary Group. And I would imagine the police department would have a pretty big hand in making sure, as you like to say, peace, safety, and comfort are kept for everybody in the borough.
Well, it's certainly helpful when we can be. That's for sure. I've always said that Indiana Borough is a community of special events, and through COVID-19, we continue to be a little bit more muted with our special events that are planned, in advance that have sought applications. But to your point, certainly the last month or two have been very challenging for Indiana Borough and nationally as well. But certainly we've had some rallies and some spontaneous events that certainly require police effort, but we're well practiced because Indiana Borough, like I said, is no stranger to special events and large gatherings in town, and it's really one of the things I'm very appreciative of as a chief of police is that we have a police department and a borough community and council who's supportive of our efforts and really allows us to be successful for the community. And peace, safety, and comfort certainly has been the focus of the police department, in addition to existing to enhance quality of life of our residents. So all of this together creates an environment where so far we've been able to succeed for the officers in the community and visitors.
One of the things that we've noticed is the fact that you've been using social media very extensively. During the start of the coronavirus crisis, you actually started putting out letters every week or so, it seemed, to kind of give comfort and aid to the community in that regard and kind of encourage everybody to keep the faith and keep things going. And then during the times where we've had these rallies, you've put out some advance notice saying, we know what's going on, and we know that there's not going to be any trouble, but we're going to be keeping an eye on things just the same. How effective has that been from your perspective using social media in that regard? Oh,
well, the feedback has been positive, and that's important. Not that necessarily I need to hear positive feedback, but that the feedback that we received is that it's helpful. When COVID-19 began to shut things down locally and nationally, the police department really worked hard to find ways that we could stay connected with the community, that we could bring value, that we could assert ourselves into the community and say, listen, we know that we're told to stay away, but the police are never going to stay away if you need us. And also, we don't have to we can stay distanced from each other, but we can also stay connected. And so that's really what prompted our social media presence. The Borough Police Department wasn't necessarily active on social media in years past. But this police department, and again, to their credit and to council's credit, we're really not afraid to be non-traditional in our approaches. Mm-hmm. And so some of the successes that we see as far as communicating, and we're not the first to communicate, the Pennsylvania State Police with Trooper Cliff Greenfield, I mean, they do an excellent job, and I take a lot of cues from Trooper Greenfield, and he's a wonderful person, but really, I can think that our profession is expanding, and our focus is peace, safety, and comfort. So the community messages, and I really try to put them out every 2 to 3 weeks. The community messages are to instill a sense of peace, and I hope that we're hitting the mark because the police department's capable of these things. The community is certainly deserving of these things, and we just all need to stay connected. And so, if we could interject a ray of hope, and oftentimes having more information is better than less information. I did not want rumor or anxiety to get in the way of fact and circumstance, and unfortunately, the police department isn't aware of everything that's going on.
Right.
But we do have a great deal of intelligence that we collect. So some of the comments and some of the concerns that we sense in the community, we can summarily dismiss, or we can get out in front of in certain ways, and we can say, well, the information that you're hearing is not the information that we're receiving, and we just want you to hear it from us. So that's really what started the So You Hear It From Us information before some of the events and rallies, was just a way to say, we're aware, we don't want you to think that we're not, and this is the information that we have. And certainly, and I'll recommit this on the air to you, that if there ever is a sense that there is going to be an emergency or an event-related emergency in Indiana Borough, the community will always hear it from us first, I hope, and quickly. So that's my commitment.
And that, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, what I was going to say is you were mentioning social media. You're kind of battling in the area where a lot of rumor and conjecture can get started as well. So it seems like you're kind of in there as, I'd say, a voice of fact as far as that in the world of rumor. It seems like.
Well, social media is interesting. I'm getting a crash course in it as I watch the borough police participate in it, and it is to your point. I mean, we find it to be a place where there's lots of information. And I'm not willing to go out on a limb and say that there's purposely bad information, but there has been information on social media that's floated that we did not have at the police department, or that we had contrary, and we just wanted to make that known in a respectful and peaceful way. I in no way would devalue anyone's opinion in this community, and as a matter of fact, I want to work towards everyone's peace, safety, and comfort. And when I say that, I mean that wholeheartedly. So we're really just trying in the most respectful ways to put information out that we have that if you're so interested in getting on the borough's Facebook account and the police department posts, you can be certain that it's the best information that we have at the time.
We're talking with Indiana Borough Police Chief Justin Schawl here on Indiana in the Morning on WCCS AM 1160 and 101.1 FM. We've been discussing a lot of the activities over the past few weeks and months, ever since the start of the coronavirus crisis, and how the department has been keeping in contact with the community through their Facebook page and social media posts, and how that's been important to them. Let's go on to our next topic. And one of the things I did want to think about was the fact that there was the investigation into that shooting on 3rd Street. I mean, everything just happened and seemed to fall into place very quickly with that investigation. Your office and the state police office really doing everything very quickly to apprehend the suspects involved in this case.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll tell you that on February 14th of this year, the Indiana Borough Police Department investigated a shooting on Wayne Avenue. That was very public, and we were able to successfully navigate that as well, and we were able to identify and charge all those involved. And then again on June 23rd, as you say, we have another shooting event in Indiana Borough. We have a great criminal investigative unit here at the police department, and although it was quick, it was certainly a thorough investigation. It was these all investigations take an incredible amount of time, and I think that those that may not be acutely aware of how much effort goes into an investigation of any sort when a shooting occurs, especially in a community setting. It really requires a diligence to investigate quickly, because, again, it is not our goal to have our community concerned that there is a danger or risk that's out there pending. So if we can quickly find that there's no danger to the community, we're going to get that out there. And even better, when our investigation can become successful in a prosecution or with charges being filed, I hope that brings the community even more confidence. So on June 23rd and February 14th, both of those shooting investigations were a result of excellent work by our criminal investigators, and I'm certainly proud of them and of the officers who responded to the scene. And it's the only way that these things get solved, in partnership with our other law enforcement agencies who Indiana's blessed to have. We were able to bring some positive outcomes to some negative situations.
One of the stories that I've actually found, that this is actually kind of a very nice story, is the fact that there have been kind of mini parades being offered by the police department for birthdays during the coronavirus pandemic for kids. And I know that the Borough Police Department has been at the forefront of that. And have you had a lot of requests for those?
Well, we have had. It feels like we've had a lot of requests, and again, the feedback's been very positive. And cruiser parades were not my idea. Full credit to our patrol officers who had somehow come up with that idea. Really, really successful, I believe. But again, that lends itself to comfort. And as long as we're navigating in ways that bring peace, safety, and comfort, as the leader of this organization, be very satisfied, because I do believe that those things bring community value. So cruiser parades focused on comfort and just trying to bring an uplifting moment to our children who have their birthday parties with immediate family only, or whose friends can't be there to celebrate with them. So we're so happy to be able to be involved in that, and certainly we weren't alone. There were many occasions where a member of the state police or the IEP police or Citizens Ambulance or the fire company joined us, and again, it goes back to being non-traditional, and rest assured, we certainly weren't wasting time with that. It was just a matter of what would bring the most value to the community in that moment. And if we couldn't, there was no guarantee, because as calls occur 24 hours a day.
Right, yeah.
We couldn't always promise to be there at the exact time. But everyone was willing to be flexible, and we were able to do it as a matter of cruiser patrol. And again, I'm very proud of the police officers here who engaged in that endeavor.
Plus, what little kid doesn't want to ride in a police car and pretend they're a policeman for a day or something like that?
Well, there was no riding in a police car. That we couldn't do with
COVID.
But they certainly had a police presence in front of their house, and a wave and a happy birthday. And I hope to get back to a point very soon where we can give some in-person cruiser tours and station tours, and we'll do that just as soon as everything's safe to do.
Chief, we're up to the mark. Thanks a lot for joining us this morning on Indiana in the Morning. Be safe out there, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Chief Justin Schawl with us here on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank.